Hey guys, we're back for another game of Dota. This is going to be a player perspective casting from this Alchemist, and I'm very excited for today because we're actually watching Long DD, who plays for Tong Fu OB, which is a very well known Chinese Dota team, and he's a very well known player individually, and yeah, it's very exciting. He's actually ranked 1 on Dota Buff for Alchemist, despite only having 62 games played. Because there's not a lot of pro Alchemist players. The top 10, none of the top 10 have over 100 games with Alchemist. So I felt fine picking this guy because he is technically rank 1, and we know he's a really good player. And it looks like he's got some really good team and opposition here, so it should be a very exciting game to watch. We don't know any of the details of the match, as I explained in the last video. What we do is we pick the latest game they have as that hero. Without looking at anything, I kind of just like wince, close my eyes, make sure I don't get any information, and we're watching this. It's basically live. We don't know what's going to happen, and that should be pretty exciting. I decided we're going to watch the draft for this one because this guy doesn't always pick the same hero. In fact, he's got like 4,000 games played with only 60 games as Alchemist. So I thought maybe there's going to be some counter picking and stuff that might be interesting to take a note of, especially with high skill players. He did happen to pick first, so his pick wasn't the counter to everything, obviously. But that might say a bit about Alchemist. Maybe he sees it as a bit of a neutral pick. He can pick that first, and the enemy team can't really determine what they're going to do to like necessarily counter that. They're not getting much information. They're like, okay, he's got an Alchemist, but that doesn't mean I'm going to change what hero I was going to pick. So it doesn't really tell them much, unlike, you know, picking a certain hero such as Ursa tells them, okay, he's probably going to go for a Roshan early, we need a way to sort that out, or he's getting a Terrorblade, he's going to have really early farm and he's going to fuck up our towers, we need a way to shut down our Terrorblade. That's just, you know, my speculation here. So we're just going to sit through the draft. Not the most exciting part for me, but I think it's interesting. I think it's something you have to take note of, especially if you want to get better at Dota. You need to start thinking about your team composition, especially if you're going to start stacking with a team. You need to think like, what part of the team am I? What am I providing for the team? What am I doing about the enemy team? How am I going to impact the game when these heroes are in the game? So Alchemist isn't the most popular hero. He's actually one of the least popular heroes, and he has one of the worst win rates in Dota. I believe it's around 40% currently, which is like really bad. Like if you did the maths on that, you consider that's a team game with 5 players. Having 40% is actually kind of criminal. It's kind of like you've literally got no impact on the game. That doesn't really work out in actual maths and actual logic, but it is certainly pretty fucking bad for the Alchemist. And it's interesting we're going from the highest win rate hero to one of the worst in 2 separate casts, just going from A to Z. And unfortunately I don't have a lot to say about this team composition. It seems pretty unique. I don't think I've ever seen this team composition before in a pro game. They don't seem like the most popular common heroes to see. Wind Ranger is very frequently called underpowered and in need of a buff by a lot of players that I've seen. I mean, a lot of people just appreciate that all Dota heroes are very balanced and, you know, not a lot of change needs to happen. But of the heroes that people think are certainly not overpowered, I think Wind Ranger is one of them, as well as Alchemist, obviously. And you don't see a lot of Juggernaut either. I'm guessing this is a pub game. I really do apologise for being bad at like names. Okay, sorry about this. This happened last time. Okay, we're going to sort it. As I said, we are doing player perspective from Alchemist. So he's getting straight up boots with a Smoke of Deceit and the Clarity. Is that all his gold? I think that is. I just want to make sure he hasn't pulled any of his healing stuff to allies or something. And we notice he's getting his nasty concoction first. Let's just have a little skill read of that, because I'm sure not everyone is aware of Alchemist's skills, since he's not a very popular hero to see or play as. It's actually an extremely powerful stun. with a huge downside though if you can't get it off. I mean, at level 4, it's a 4-second stun. That does 360. Is that magic damage? It's physical damage. That's quite interesting, actually. And even at level 1, it's nearly a 2-second stun. So yeah, that's extremely powerful if you can get it off. And I guess that this early rune time is one of the times that you are more likely to get it off than other times, because you're in a big open area. They can't really duck behind the tree or anything. But he's just going to treat himself to a fairly easy bounty rune there. Didn't really have much competition, just had a tree checking that out from the Nature's Prophet. And that's going to help his early gold farming get a kick-off, I guess. Because Alchemist is famous for, you know, having a great gold earning capability. I apologize if you just heard a bleep. I don't know if you will or not, but someone's messaging me on Steam. We're just going to ignore that. Hope it goes away. I should really turn that stuff off if you can hear it. I should stop talking about it if you can't. And this is interesting. He's pulling the first creep wave, so he's really wanting to deny his enemy from any experience, and he's going to also utilize the creep's DPS to, you know, get a fairly easy jungle. It's very nice to see. I mean, this is denying the enemy a lot of experience and a lot of gold. Very early on, which means they're gonna, you know, get delayed level 2s, delayed level 3s, the very important levels for, you know, messing up the enemy team. And they don't seem to be coming to stop this, which is brilliant for the Radiant team. I was just triple checking what side he's on, and yeah, it is a Radiant. I need to get better at, like, you know, recognizing that immediately. It is a very nice trick, because not only are you denying an entire creep wave's worth of experience, which is a huge amount, especially early, you're also weakening the jungle creeps, so you can get some fairly easy jungling when you are not really well suited to do jungling with your current stats, because you've got no real form of healing, no real decent defense against them. So yeah, Long DD typically known as playing a position 4, position 5 player. So we might be seeing like more of a support carry more of a support Alchemist coming out here rather than, you know, a hard carry, which he sometimes is played as. And you can see that he is roaming around. He's not too concerned about getting hard farm. So I think we can say that is a correct assumption to make here. And he must be considering helping out in a gank here. I'm not entirely sure. Viper's a pretty tough opponent to take down from a Wind Ranger and a level 2 Alchemist, but we're going to see what they're going to try and do here. Once again, he's not too concerned about getting farm. He's just sitting behind the tower, you know. I don't even know if he's soaking up the experience from the creeps. I think he is. Yeah, he must be. Yeah, he is, definitely. Which isn't great for the Wind Ranger currently, but I mean, if it's going to result in a gank or some action, it's good. And yeah, that pretty much seals the deal. He's definitely playing support. Yeah, he's upgrading the courier. I didn't notice who bought the initial courier. It wasn't him, because he bought his boots. There's no way he had that amount of gold. I can't tell if he did round them, but I don't think he did. I'm fairly certain he didn't. I don't even know if you can in this game mode. Let's stop speculating about things we have no idea about, and let's just go into the game. So yeah, we're seeing he's just roaming around. He's just looking to see if there's any gank opportunities available. In retrospect, it's easy to say, okay, you should just be farming, you should just be, you know, pulling creep waves, you should be doing something rather than just running around and not really getting much done. But he's getting these runes, which is a nice thing to see. He's had one rune every single time. The 0 minute mark, the 2 minute mark, and the 4 minute mark. And let's see if he can use this invisibility rune to actually cause some trouble. Because let's just mouse over that stone and see how long it is just at level 2. Because it's just great in invisibility as well, because you can get the full time off very safely. It's a 2.5 second stun with 220 physical damage, which is fantastic this early into the game. Oh, at any stage really, a 2.5 second stun is really good. Like a lot of stuns don't even get that far at level 4. Just because it bears saying, the stun from Alchemist, basically you charge it up for 5 seconds, and if you throw it at like 4.5 seconds, it's going to get the max stun time. But if you let it charge for longer than 5 seconds, it's going to stun you, and it's going to deal the damage to you in an AoE, so it can even affect enemies around you. I don't think it affects allies. I might be wrong there. I think it might affect allies actually. But basically, it's like a frag grenade. If you've ever played like a first-person shooter, you're gonna like pull a frag grenade. It's gonna be ticking down in your hand. You throw it at the best time, so it bursts immediately in the enemy's face. But if you don't throw it in time enough, it's gonna, you know, burst in your own face. So here we can see he's charging it, and okay, he did have vision, and he got a near max charge there, which is really nice. I'm not completely certain how it scales. Like, I don't know. A 4.5 second charge is, you know, max stun. So what is a 4 second charge? Is that like very close to max stun? Is that like a different tier away from it, which is only like, let's say 2/3 of it? I'm sorry that I don't have that information, but either way, we saw it was adequate to get that very fast kill there. So well played. We notice these skills are actually very expensive. 120 for the acid spray and 120 for the unstable concoction. I believe that's the name. Let's have a quick read of that. Indeed it is. And that is acid spray. To me, acid spray seems kind of underwhelming, but I noticed it's used a bit. Maybe I'm just a bit dumb and don't understand the true value of it. I guess the armor reduction is very significant. And it is a very nice big AoE thing that you can throw down in a team fight. You can throw down to clear a creep wave, or certainly deal damage to a creep wave, and help defend or push a tower. So yeah, it's not a bad skill by any means. And here we can see he's using it to kill the ancients. I guess damage the ancients would be a better way of saying it. We actually haven't been able to see like what effect it's having on them because he is currently not looking at them himself. But alright, oh shit, he was using it to stack them. That's very intelligent. I'm dumb for not noticing that. But yeah, that's very nice. And perhaps he's going to be stacking it for a friendly carry, such as his Void. Or maybe he's just going to cash in on that very soon. So yeah, it's pretty beautiful to see. We're seeing a Chronosphere into a nearly max stun, which results in a very easy kill and a very frustrating death for that Viper. He couldn't do anything there. That was like a 8-second stun or something. And we notice he's going Medallion, which is just going to enhance his already massive armor debuff. And yeah, he is stuck in this engine camp. It actually seems like a really good way to stack now I think about it, because it damages everything immediately, and you don't have to be right in front of them to do it. So I imagine like the range creeps aren't gonna focus on you, gonna focus you down. Oh wow, he nearly died to the ancients there. That would have been kind of funny if he such high skill player accidentally dies to them. Some people purposefully died to neutral creeps, but that was certainly not purposeful. And he did survive, but it was kind of a close call, which is amusing to see. So I think I cut myself off earlier. He's got the Medallion, which lowers the enemy's armor by a significant amount. He also has his acid spray, of course. So utilizing both of these, he's gonna take down their armor very significantly. This doesn't have a buff or anything, does it? I think he just placed it down for lols there. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. I was thinking like maybe it gives like a little bit of extra HP regeneration or something. Why is he using it right now? But he just, you know, felt like using it in the fountain. Pretty common to see. Players love just throwing out their best skills in the fountain. I certainly do. I love starting a game and just throwing out an earth spike or something, just haha. Although, bad example, because often you don't want to skill up your skill until you've actually met your opponent in the lane. But you guys know what I mean. And we're seeing another smoke of the steed here. And looks like they're going to try and get this Viper, although they've already been spotted. It wasn't the greatest attempt, but they've got in, they've got a nice stun, they've got the acid spray, and he did activate his medallion. I didn't actually quite spot him doing that. So that Viper had significantly lower armor, and that is certainly crucial to that kill. They wouldn't have got the kill if he didn't have that armor reduction, both from the acid spray and the medallion. So yep, pretty nice to see.
Tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I didn't even see him pick up that ward, but yep, we saw him place it.
Middle tower is under attack.
Now we've been seeing him stack the wards earlier, but I'm pretty sure, I didn't really comment on it at the time, I'm pretty sure that Niche's Prophet Train went and had a cheeky glance at the ancient stack earlier. It was in the area. I don't know if it actually got a chance, but I imagine it would have, because that was, you know, if it's in the area, I might as well have a little glance and see what's going on. So Nature's Prophet might be aware of that big stack that's fairly damaged, and you know, he could come pick that off. One of his allies could come pick that off and get lots of golden experience, which would really annoy the Alchemist's team and make all his efforts, you know, stacking it pretty much a waste of time. Not only a waste of time, but a negative thing, because it's helped out the enemy team significantly. So hopefully they're going to cash in on that ancient stack before the enemy team can do anything with it. And yeah, just seeing acid spray used for stacking the ancient camps, that's evidence enough to me that it's a pretty good skill, because it's pretty nice. And I imagine at level 4 it's actually going to do a lot of damage to them, so you could just farm them very safely from a very safe distance. If you happen to be in mid or maybe bottom, you could just, every time it comes to the minute mark, you could just walk past, get lots of damage on them, stack it a bit, and you know, like every 2 or 3 camps, the first set are going to die to the damage while it continues to get stacked bigger and bigger. And the first, it's like a cycle. The first one always dies, and then a second one is spawned. So basically, it comes to a point after a while that you're farming one ancient stack every single time you pass by, which is very significant. Every minute mark, you can basically get an ancient stack after, you know, the first 2 or 3 have been damaged. And yep, we're seeing he's getting level 3 acid spray rather than finishing off his concoction or getting his gold thing. It'll be interesting to see if he does get his gold thing before, you know, killing them off, because I think the extra bonus gold from that would be very significant. Because there must be like about 12 bodies there, maybe more, maybe 15 bodies. It's a very stacked ancient camp.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So his buddy does have a bottle, so that was kind of a dick move. Although she was, you know, she didn't need the regeneration. Although it's typically nice to just allow her to get some. But he's thinking, okay, we need a little bit of golden experience here. We've been roaming around. We haven't been getting a lot of golden experience ourselves, so we need it now. And we can see he's waiting for another stack here. He's counting down the time. 53, 54 minute mark. There we go. And I think the first stack will die. We're keeping a close eye on his gold. And yeah, certainly, it looks like they're, yep. Sorry, we just got tabbed out of the game. I'm sorry if that just like stuttered for a second. And here we can see he's picked up level 6, and now we can pretty safely, you know, kill them, regenerate his health a little bit. Although level 1, even level 1 isn't enough regeneration to fight like a very stacked ancient camp with no items. It's a very cool ultimate though. It's like, you think of it as like a fighting thing, but it's actually just a very nice way to passively heal in the lane. You don't necessarily have to put it when you're fighting. You can just use it to heal anytime you want to. The amount of health healed for the mana cost is actually very, very efficient. I guess we'll just we'll wait for this action to die down before we do anything. But looks like we just saw a defensive Chronosphere, which is always very depressing to use, but as long as you don't die, you're happy. And yeah, even with his health regeneration, he couldn't survive that. He got focused down, and unfortunate for him. So we can see he's keeping a close eye on his buddy. And yeah, this Slog's doing mayhem here, and a very coordinated fight by the enemy team, which you know, shut down Alchemist pretty hard. Okay, so it's 50 health regeneration per second for 25 seconds. That's 1,250 health if I've calculated it correctly. 450 mana. So yep, it's a very good way to regenerate health in the lane, or just any time. You can do some juggling with it. It's a very nice passive ability, which is also nice for, you know, fighting. So he's got a little tiny bit of confirmation there that I kind of already knew, but I was, you know, a little bit curious. The concoction doesn't target your allies as long as you've focused it on an enemy. I don't know if it does if you've charged it in your hand, and therefore you've targeted an ally, which is yourself. I think in that case it might have stun everything, but I might be wrong there. But it's refreshing to see you can just point it out at a dude that's right next to your other dude, and it's going to stun the enemy and not the ally. Which is pretty obvious, but you know. And his ultimate's also really nice in that he can tank a tower pretty much, you know, effortlessly, which can let your team take down the tower very quickly. I don't know if the armor debuff works on towers, the acid spray, rather. I'm not entirely sure. It's unfortunate that we have such poor knowledge of the game in this cast. I genuinely feel like worthless when I don't know this stuff. I feel like, okay, I'm not helping here. If you don't know it, then you're just gonna be really disappointed that I also don't know it and can't tell you. It'd probably be best if I just didn't speak up in those times. I'll just silently feel sad that I don't know it. So yeah, he's maxed acid spray first over the stun over anything else, which is actually kind of interesting to see. I guess the armor debuff is really nice, especially in a game where he is underfarmed and underleveled, so his individual DPS and stuff isn't going to be high, but just applying that armor debuff to the enemies is very nice, and it's going to allow him to, you know, push creep waves and stuff, defend towers, more than just going in harm face and face, because if he goes face and face he's just going to die even with his ultimate, because again he's got no items and very little experience. And I think that's a somewhat common mistake to make. The ultimate isn't like, it does make you much stronger and, you know, much better in a man fight. It increases your attack speed significantly, and the health regeneration does apply in a team fight. But it doesn't make you invincible, especially against an enemy that has more farm than you. And it's more used as like a regeneration thing, and a very quick way to farm with the faster attack speed than, you know, a man fighting thing. Well, again, it is really nice on man fighting. You just don't want to go feel like you're immortal because you have it. I mean, we're seeing a Slark here fuck him up, even though he's got his ultimate. He could turn around and do barely any damage. He tried to escape, but of course that didn't really go well because he's facing a Slark. And the well-played Slark's actually kind of disgusting. It just destroys you. It's kind of amusing seeing a Rubik actually use Juggernaut's ability to escape there. Very good knowledge of the time that you had there. There's also a nice Juggernaut ultimate we just saw there through the cogs. Don't give a shit about your cogs, mate. I'm just gonna go Omni-Slash everything. I sprouted. So our Alchemist buddy bought his smoke quite a long while ago now. I'm just mentioning it because I'm anticipating him using it pretty soon, and that should be exciting. I haven't been paying attention to the enemy team. I don't even know which one of them keeps on going invisible. But apparently there's one that keeps on going invisible that I haven't been paying attention to, because he's bought the smoke just to deal with that guy. Oh shit, sorry guys, that's the phone. Oh, do I have to get this? I know my room is in. never mind. Hopefully that's not for me. Otherwise I'll probably have to pause this, I guess.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
You know, I think it is probably going to be for me. I'm anticipating a call. I'm going to pause this. Sorry, guys. Nope, not for me. God damn it. I so wish I had editing capabilities. I think like the next video we're going to do, I'm going to download another bit of software that can allow me to pause, can allow me to do stuff like this, because that's just shoddy, to be honest. It's not a good video now. But you know, it was only for like 30 seconds, so I'm not going to be too concerned about it. We're just going to continue with the cast, but it's just a no for myself. In the future, okay, that is an issue. It happened in the last video, kind of, and you know, I have to find a way to deal with it if we're going to continue doing these videos, because it just isn't on the way it's going on. I apologize about that, guys, but let's just continue in this cast.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So see, he's maxed his stun. That's now a 5-second stun if you can get it off perfectly, which, you know, is fucking ginormous.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And I believe I'm pretty sure that is the longest stun in the game, not counting Chronosphere. I think it even is longer than the Chronosphere after the recent update, where they cut it down by half a second because it was kind of glitched or something. It's also not a bad nuke. 360 physical damage is pretty nice. It's going to deny a tower here.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
I'm very interested to see what items he's going to build into next.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
It's cool to see that he does value the gold over just getting some stats. He doesn't view it as a completely useless skill. It's going to allow him to catch up a bit into the game, getting some farm. I mean, of course, he's a support player and he doesn't need as much farm as, you know, the typical player, but no hero will say no to getting some farm. I mean, it's always nice. I mean, an item like a Cypher Vice is just inarguably good, and like any hero can carry it really. So getting stuff like that would be nice. He's getting a Blink Dagger now, just to position himself. That makes sense. I'm not sure if you can blink while you've got your stun on cool. Well, like when it's activated and it's counting down. I imagine you can. So that'd be very nice. You could like charge it up, blink into where he knows an enemy is going to be, and then, you know, throw it off his face, point blank range, secure that he's going to get the maximum stun, and yeah, be very cool to see. Once again, it is an AOE, so not only if it's a 5-second stun and a huge amount of damage, if the enemies are grouped up, you can get that stun and that damage on, like, let's say 5 players, ideally. So yeah, it's very, very powerful.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And he's just stuck in his camp again. While it looks like they're going to try and take down a tier 2, or at least trade a few blows in his team fight. So here you saw him charge up his ability, then blink in and get a very nice stun on an enemy guy. And he thought, okay, I'm no longer needed here, I'm just going to go. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing. Maybe he's anticipating an enemy coming from the other side, maybe he's just thinking, okay, I'll just slowly meander back and get some more farm. I'm not entirely sure. He does seem to be spending quite a lot of time, you know, not doing a lot, not in the action. He's assessing how the game's going. He's checking stuff out, but like the actual golden experience ticks aren't coming out because he's not getting any farm. So here we just saw him like wait 20 seconds just so he could stack this ancient camp. I'm not sure if you can throw this at only heroes.
Double damage.
That doesn't quite say that what you can target, but this says no target because of course if you leave it, it does target yourself. I'm not sure. Maybe we can just read this. Maybe it will say somewhere. Okay, you can only do it at enemy heroes, so you can't use it to farm. That's worth noting, because you know, the pure damage is pretty significant, and especially since it's physical damage as well. His passive gold ability is actually kind of interesting in the jungle, especially against those little tiny creeps, because they're worth a lot more when an Alchemist kills them than any other hero, because they give him 9 gold or something, but he's going to get like 9 gold plus 30 when these things at max, so you know, it's very nice. He spots this cheeky Slark just waiting for a kill down there, and he thinks, okay, we've got 5 men just moving around bot. Now they're going around mid. They don't want to, you know, they're not entirely sure where they're going at this moment in time. Bit of smoke. I mean, to me, it looks like they're just walking around in circles. Unfortunately, I can't see, you know, the beautiful plan out of all of this. To me, it just looks a bit like chaos. It's working out though. They've got mid eventually, and unfortunately, Stark is going to get Alchemist. Although with the health regeneration, perhaps he could have survived if his ultimate was still active for a little bit longer. It unfortunately ran out like during the fight. And we're seeing yet another defense of Chronosphere. You can normally tell the game's not going great in your favour when you're seeing yourself pulling those things out quite frequently. But it was the right move there. I mean, the Void couldn't have turned around and fought the Slark. The Slark's actually just too strong at this point in the game. He is one of those heroes that gets really strong in the early to mid game, and then, you know, falls out a little bit at the super late game. But I guess the same could be said about Void, although more so about Slark than Void. Void does scale pretty good into the late game, I'd say. That's just me though, I might be wrong about that. I think with the Chronosphere and the double damage bashes, he's always going to be very nice though. Especially given that his team, he's got a Wind Ranger who can focus fire people in the Chronosphere. He's got a very nice stun coming out of the Alchemist, and here we're seeing the Blink Dagger in use. He's thinking, oh shit, it's counted down and I'm nowhere near them, but then he can think, okay, I'll just blink in, get one of them, and not only am I going to stun them, I'm going to make sure I don't stun myself. So yep, very nice use of the Blink Dagger here. I'm going to see them focus down the Slark because he's quite a nuisance, honestly. Unfortunately, with his ultimate, he's very survivable, so they really need to take down the Slark, and unfortunately, it looks like they're probably not going to be able to, and it's not going great for them. Oh my god, was that a Rubik chronosphere. I think that was a Rubik chronosphere. And yeah, that team fight went disastrously bad for our buddies team here. The game's not over yet, but that's certainly making it look pretty bad for Alchemist, honestly. That was such a huge exchange. Right next to the tower, so they could very easily pick it off. They have to be a bit careful pushing this tier 3 because, I mean, they are coming back pretty soon, and with an Alchemist, with a massive AoE stun and a Wind Ranger to, you know, do a lot of damage, they can mess up the enemy team, but yeah, they're feeling very safe on low hit points, and they've got like more than half the tower damage there, so it was a very nice movement by the Dire, and pretty dominating, to be honest. They couldn't do a lot about it. They certainly tried to, but it seems like they kept on getting enemies to lower life points, but they just couldn't secure the kills, and they went a bit too hard to actually try and kill them, and they got picked off themselves. So obviously, I mean, it was a 0-for-4 trade in the end, so of course it doesn't even need to be stated that it wasn't a good team fight for them. And they're just pushing so quick here with the Nature's Prophet and everything else, I guess, that they're having a hard time defending against this. Alchemist can come around and get an acid spray and, you know, shit on the enemy creeps and stuff, but he physically can't even move to the bottom when they're pushing so quickly and so you know, randomly. You couldn't predict where they're going to go next, and before you noticed they were down at bottom, they were already pushing down the tower. So I'm kind of excited for this because while it hasn't been a dominating Alchemist performance, we haven't seen him like destroy everyone and win the game, I still think it's actually been pretty informative of how he's played, and you know, we're seeing how a good Alchemist is played even in a losing match. It doesn't, it ultimately doesn't even matter if they win or lose the game. We're seeing him play at peak performance and try and win the game, and that's enough, you know, to pick up a lot of knowledge on good Alchemist play. The one difference is we're maybe going to see different item builds based on the performance, and maybe they're going to pick up you know, items that they feel are necessary to help win the already losing game, rather than items that they're going to build up to help secure a victory, because those items are often different. But I don't think that's necessarily, you know, a bad thing either, because it's arguably more important to know how to come back rather than know how to shit on an already winning game. Because if you've already won the game, what you do is technically, you know, pointless. Like, no one cares if you're gonna win by 10 more kills or 10 less kills. As long as you win the game, that's all you need to do. So yeah, arguably seeing how you come back with a hero like this is more valuable, or at least equally valuable, to seeing how you win. So I'm not too disappointed getting a game where they are currently losing, rather than one where, again, we're not seeing a completely dominating performance by the Alchemist. Kind of an interesting push by Slack there. I mean, he didn't get a lot done. He's forced out some teleports though for them to come defend, so, and he's distracted them to mid while they push top, so you know, it was actually kind of a nice play by him. And if they didn't go to his one, maybe he could have got the tower there, so yeah, it's kind of interesting play. It's kind of unconventional, but interesting nonetheless. And it's looking very, not to use the pun, but it's looking very dire for the Radiant team here, because they're just watching their towers go down and they can't do shit against it. They feel like they probably have to defend high ground, and once it comes to high ground they can react quicker because you know, there's less distance from top to bottom, from mid to anywhere, and they can try and win a team fight and then turn it around, maybe get a tier 2, try and get a tier 3 out of the exchange if they manage to kill off a lot of them. But I mean, it's high skill play, so they're going to be very careful when pushing the high ground. Well, they're not going to overcommit while doing it, at least. I'm kind of looking forward to when we get games such as Rubik, because we're seeing this Rubik pull off a bunch of skills here. That was unfortunate that he didn't get off the stun, but ultimately it didn't look like it was necessary to get the kill. So at least that's good. That's a good thing about it. Although I'm sure it's pretty embarrassing for our player.
All is confusion.
Alchemist is kind of exciting in the sense that he has one of the most powerful spells in the game, like a huge stun, huge damage, AoE, but it can also bite you in the face. It can come back on you. So I think that's pretty exciting, because like every time you charge it up, you're at a risk of not actually being able to get it on an enemy. I'm pretty sure he was trying to get a double one there, but Slock just hopped away before he got it off, so he only got the single one. I mean, either way, I don't think a lot of action would have came out of that, but it's always nice to ping off a nice bit of damage on the enemies and stun them so they can't do shit for a little while. I think this is the most smoke of deceits I've ever seen bought in one game. This guy certainly likes his smoke of deceits. And it makes sense. It works really nice with his stun. He's a position 4 or 5 player, so you know he's buying that stuff for his team. And I think he'd like to instigate a team fight and, you know, one in their favour. And that's all they need to turn around this game. Without it though, it looks pretty bad for them, honestly. Especially with a Slock that has now got an Aegis. Oh, did that? Yeah, the Void actually didn't get the kill there. Oh wow, that's got to be frustrating. We're seeing some all chat. Unfortunately, I don't understand the Chinese, but he's probably saying, "Ha ha 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 ha, that was fucking close, but you didn't get me," or something like that. I think we all understand the sentiment behind that all chat. I think he's just happy to be alive. And Void is very disappointed that he is still alive. The enemy team, the enemy guy that is. We see a nice stun on the Slock, and they've picked off his Aegis, which is very worthwhile. We're seeing an instant buyback because, let's be honest, it's necessary here. Charging with another stun, maybe get another one on the Slock. Okay, he's got it on a different guy. Probably a mistake there. I mean, if he got it off on the Slock, that could have actually been really worthwhile. But I don't know. He saw them pushing his barracks and he thought, shit, we have to deal with that. Maybe if I get an AoE, that's going to be more valuable than getting their Slock. Oh, it's very unfortunate. He was just out of range and he couldn't get that stun off. And it looks like he's going to just, you know, feed here. And he's got no buyback. He's dead for 70 seconds. And this is most likely going to be some barracks, maybe the entire game. Oh, Void's not getting anything done here. Oh, he was in the trees. I didn't even notice he was in the trees. That's some well-placed trees. And the Rubik's trollololol. I have the same ability as you do. And yeah, this is looking pretty much over. They're all dead at this moment. They're not pushing as hard as I think they should be. But it looks like they're going to get another set of barracks at least. I kind of wouldn't hate if they just went straight for the tier 4s, because I think if they went for the tier 4s, they could probably finish the game, honestly, at this point. But I guess this is the more safe play. They just get some barracks, and, you know, they might not be able to have secured the full game over if they went for the tier 4s, but going for the barracks, they can certainly get some barracks, and, you know, put them at a very, very high probability of winning the game. And it might just be the enemy toying with their meat a little bit, yeah. I mean, we're seeing some factor diving coming out of the Slock. And they picked up this clockwork, but that's actually very insignificant. He's not the biggest priority to take down. Of course, they just took down whoever they could. They're denying a tier 4, which is arguably a bad idea. At this point in the saved gold isn't actually, you know, a huge deal. while having an extra tower to focus down on the creeps that come for it might be quite worth quite a bit. Maybe that was done in acceptance that it's already over. Maybe he disagrees with me and thinks, okay, it's worth it. Especially if he's intending on, you know, farming the creeps that come. The tower's gonna get less of the kills. I can't honestly say. It is nice to see like the giant amount of stuns and stuff they have. Does let them kill people off one by one if they're gonna come in one by one. So they have to be a bit wary. They can't just, you know, troll one by one and try and fight the Radiant side. They're still pretty powerful, although not at a huge. They're not looking good compared to the Dire. Oh wow! And the couriers just died with 4,000 worth of items. I'm not entirely sure what they had here, but they're going to be pretty disappointed about that. No idea what was on it. It wasn't our buddy that had anything on it, but I mean, that could have been a relic to build a rapier or something. I'm nearly 100% certain it wasn't, but you know, hypothetically, 4,000 cargo is pretty significant, and that, you know, could have been the difference between turning this around or not. Because there are a lot of items that the components build into a very good item worth over 4,000 gold. And he's been pretty unfortunate with his stuns here. He's been getting quite a lot in his own face. He hasn't been able to get them off. I am pretty sure his ally force-staffed him out of danger there, which is very nice of them to do. Otherwise he looks surely dead. And we're seeing he's building into a BKB, which seems like a smart decision, but maybe it's a little bit too late. Oh, and that power shot just didn't finish off the clockwork there, unfortunately. I mean, look at that farm on Nature's Prophet. There's not much stopping that, given the way the game's been going for the Radiant side. I mean, they did pick off one of them, two of them maybe, yeah, two of them. But it's just not going to work out because Nature's Prophet's brought back, get the kill on the very crucial Void, and yeah, I mean, there's not much to say at this point. The game's over basically. They're just kind of toying with their food. They're gonna finish it eventually. And it's kind of cool to see that they're playing optimistically. They know it's over, but they're thinking, let's just fight. Theoretically, it's within the realm of possibility for us to turn this around still, kind of technically. If the enemy team all have like a stroke right now, maybe we can fight off the creeps and, you know, push. Possibly. So they are playing. They're playing to the very end, which is, you know, really nice to see. It's very uncommon, to be honest. I feel like the more game knowledge someone has, the more likely they're just going to say GG and not finish the game. Because it's kind of the same with a lot of competitive games. Once you know it's over, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to watch it finish because you're so used to playing the game and it's so repetitive after a certain point. You don't want to have the unnecessary time of watching an inevitability that you're already aware of. That's my speculation on it. That's why I think the higher skilled players get, the more likely they are to just, you know, finish off the game once they can already determine that it's over. Of course, you get a lot of noobs that say GG at like the 5-minute mark when they take a tier 1 or something. They're like, oh god, we lose. And that's actually really frustrating if you're on the same team as them. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake, just continue playing. Don't go AFK at the 5-minute mark because they've took a tier 1. Are you serious? But that's the key to having game knowledge. You've got to have the knowledge to actually be sure that it's over. And, you know, with all this bollocks I've been talking, they are pushing, and they could theoretically get a barracks here. I mean, if the Sug's coming, if they do turn it around, I think they can take out the Radiant team somewhat easily here. Perhaps not easily, but I mean, it's not going to be impossible for to take down the Radiant. It's not like the Radiant are actually somehow an amazing force that are going to push down the tier 4s like right now. But they're doing their best, and it's actually working out really nice for them. They've got so many stuns and stuff to just throw out to harass the enemy team, to piss them off, to stop them from picking them off. But it's too little too late. The super creeps managed to get the Radiant, and it's a pretty enjoyable game there. I'm pretty sure the enemy team was also maybe a pro team, maybe a good team. I saw Ice Ice. I don't know if that's the famous Ice Ice Ice. No idea. But high skill play everywhere. And yeah, I enjoyed casting this game. I thought it was enjoyable. Apologise for the little weird pause in the middle. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And it's interesting to see Alchemist played. Again, even though it was a loss, I think it was pretty interesting. So yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. And next time we're going to be watching... I'm not even sure. Let's have a quick check. Who comes after Alchemist? Oh, Ancient Apparition. That's an exciting hero to watch. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys are too. Thank you. Goodbye.